The head of the US COVID-19 vaccine program has said that the first Americans to receive the vaccine could get it as soon as the 11th of December. The comments come amid a surge in coronavirus cases across the country. The leaders of the world's richest nations have ended their summit hosted virtually by Saudi Arabia with a pledge to ensure an affordable distribution of COVID-19 vaccines. G20 leaders said that poorer countries would not be left out. Ethiopia's Prime Minister has given Tigrayan regional forces 72 hours in which to surrender before the military begins an offensive on the region's capital. African Union mediators have been barred from visiting the area. The funeral has taken place in Belgrade of the influential head of the Serbian Orthodox Church who died from coronavirus. It's thought that Patriarch Irine contracted the virus at the funeral of Montenegro's senior religious leader.
There are more parties. People are shopping, students are coming home from college in states with higher infection rates. There are more family gatherings. 37 days between today and January 2nd of significantly increased social activity. How high will the infection rate go? I don't know. But there's going to be 2 points of, I believe, increase. We don't know how significant. December 1, December 10, you'll start to see the results of what happened over the Thanksgiving weekend, right? People get infected. You need an incubation period for the virus. They then start to get sick. They then start to show up at the hospital. So December 1, December 10, you'll see the result.
We begin in Japan, where the number of coronavirus cases has risen sharply in recent days. The surge has prompted the central government to review its Go To campaign. The programs offer generous subsidies to boost travel and dining out. The minister in charge of the coronavirus response said on Sunday that the government needs to quickly respond to the changing situation.
The government will outline a new direction for the campaign in the next few days, in cooperation with the governors of prefectures, where cases are spiking.
His comment comes after Prime Minister Suga Yoshihide announced on Saturday that he's partially halting the Go To programs. Nishimura also said the government will impose some restrictions on the campaign to avoid taking severe measures, such as declaring a state of emergency. He said travel agencies may be asked to stop accepting campaign reservations for visits to areas where cases have exceeded a certain level. Tokyo Governor Koike Yuriko said the government should make a decision to review the campaign as a whole, not based on individual prefectures. It's a 3-day holiday weekend in Japan, and plenty of people have been venturing out and traveling despite the risks. Some people in Tokyo went to see the autumn leaves. They decided to stay close to home rather than going far afield. There were 391 new infections reported on Sunday in the capital. That's a drop from recent days when over 500 cases were reported daily.
I can't go back to see my family, so I looked for a place where I could enjoy the autumn leaves. It took only 10 minutes to get here by car. I'm planning to leave pretty soon.
I see this as a good chance to walk around and discover things close to home.
The central area of the western city of Osaka also saw crowds. The prefecture reported 490 cases on Sunday. That marked a record high for the 4th consecutive day. In nearby Kobe, many tourists visited the city's famous Chinatown. Some said they came even though they were worried about the spike in infections.
I made my reservation when infections were declining. I wondered what to do, but would have to pay fees to cancel, so I decided to go ahead with caution.
A total of over 130,000 cases have now been confirmed across the country. More than 300 patients are in serious condition, and over 2,000 people have died. The antibody cocktail used to treat President Donald Trump for COVID-19 last month has been approved for emergency use in the U.S. The cocktail is being developed by American pharmaceutical firm Regeneron. The therapy uses two antibodies in combination. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration says it reduces hospitalization or emergency room visits for patients when there is a serious danger of COVID-19 progressing. The therapy is only allowed for patients aged 12 or older who weigh at least 40 kilograms, and they must be at high risk of developing severe symptoms. The therapy isn't allowed for patients who are already hospitalized or who need an artificial respirator. The FDA says no effective benefits have been confirmed with such patients, and it could cause the condition to worsen. Regeneron says it expects to have doses of the treatment ready for about 80,000 patients by the end of November. It should have enough for about 300,000 patients in total by the end of January. Turning to the Central American country of Guatemala, people protesting government budget cuts have set fire to the Congress building in Guatemala City. Media outlets report about 7,000 people rallied in the capital to demand the resignation of President Alejandro Giammattei. Local media say hundreds of demonstrators stormed the Congress building. They were angered by the funding cuts to education and medical services and the government's handling of the coronavirus. Giammattei wrote on Twitter that he defends people's right to protest, but vandalizing public property cannot be tolerated. Earlier this month, Hurricane Eta battered Guatemala, leaving more than 150 people dead or unaccounted for. Guatemalans are increasingly dissatisfied with their government for cutting public spending when the country is still reeling from the hurricane damage. Christmas shopping is already in full swing in Brazil, but it is different this year amid the coronavirus pandemic. At a shopping mall in central São Paulo, a large screen is decked with Christmas decorations. When children stand in front of the screen, Santa Claus appears on it and asks what they want for Christmas.
Great, because he cannot die from COVID.
Shopping centers normally offer children the opportunity to meet Santa Claus and have their pictures taken with him at this time of the year. But because of the pandemic, the jolly white-bearded old man is working remotely. At this shopping mall in Rio de Janeiro, children can speak with Santa through a live video link. Christmas this year is a little different, but children know it is still Christmas. A zoo in Western Japan has welcomed the birth of a baby giant panda. The happy father is the world's oldest panda in captivity to have a cub in the natural way. Adventure World in Wakayama Prefecture says the baby is about 20 centimeters in length and weighs 157 grams. The zoo says a Chinese expert couldn't come to Japan for the birth because of the coronavirus pandemic. That makes it the first time in the zoo's history that only Japanese staff were present at the birth of a panda cub.
I believe the workers were waiting for the birth with a mixture of anxiety, anticipation, and other feelings. I can now say we are very happy and relieved.
The father's name is read as Eimei in Japanese. It translates as eternal brightness. He's 28 years old, or well over 80 in human years. He broke his own record for oldest natural father set 2 years ago. The cub doesn't have a name yet. A total of 17 pandas have been born at the zoo. Almost all of them are Eimei's children. The zoo will decide when to show his new son to the public, depending on how he grows. Now to sumo, Ozeki champion Takakeisho has won the Emperor's Cup on the final day of the November tournament. Takakeisho, the sole leader with one loss, faced Teruno Fuji, his closest rival, with 2 losses. Teruno Fuji beats Takakeisho with a backward force down. This led to a playoff between the two wrestlers. This time, Takakeisho pushes out Terunofuji. It is his second championship victory and the first since he was promoted to the rank of Ozeki champion last year. In the January tournament next year, the focus will be on if Takakeisho can earn a promotion to the top rank of Yokozuna Grand Champion.
I haven't been doing very well since I became an Ozeki, so I'm really glad to make such a good result this time. I've been wrestling sumo every day since elementary school just to become stronger. So I want to keep doing my best for another 2 months while challenging myself.
The two Yokozuna Grand Champions Hakuho and Kakuryu sat out the tournament with injuries.